Welcome everyone. I am Mr. Goldenbaum, and this is Supremacy 1914. Alright, we are back with day number 4, playing as Oklahoma. We are at 88 points, nearing the next day change, followed up by West Mexico, which they actually jumped pretty significantly. Yeah, they were only at 7th place, number 39, and they jumped to the 4th, or I should say 2nd place, by only taking over just a few AI territories. I think when I was taking a look at their territories, despite only taking maybe 1 or 2 capitals, all of their core regions had 100% morale. So potentially he could have boosted his entire economy. And it looks like we have a lovely message here from Texas, our first victim. As you can see here, we are being surrounded and attacked from all sides. I believe when we last left off, we were just able to finish off northeastern Mexico, Coahuila, and then we were just starting to station some of these borders. I know northwest Mexico here was kind of building up this. I think that this is actually West Mexico. They were finishing up their conquest. We saw a few troop movements, but nothing had developed at the time. We actually kept, let's call them blue. Blue Mexico, northwest, or northeast Mexico. Geez, some of these are so confusing. We actually kept them alive because they are the coalition leader. And should they fall, I believe the next in line, West Mexico, would have taken up the role as coalition leader here, and that means they could have invited any of the other players, most concerning being that of North California. Though it appears that there was an incident that took place, and these two countries are now at war. Let's take a look. North California. Here we go. Yep, they are at war with Mexico. I'm not sure who attacked who, but we were kind of hoping this wouldn't happen, especially if we're going to be taking the brunt of the northwestern Mexican forces here. They would just be able to kind of swoop in and steal all these provinces. Yeah, not ideal, but we'll live with it. But as you can see here, we are being surrounded on all sides. You had these forces over here that had finished up taking up the AI, being led by Hank. Their morale is not great, so I don't believe they'll be as big of a threat. We are going to be trading territories for time. In the east here, he'll be separated from the rest of the forces, so we should be able to pick them off rather easily and quickly once we wrap up some of these other battles. We did take the offensive and wipe out a 10k stack here in Mapimi. Unfortunately for us, these units were fresh from the capital. They had about 10,000 units, so unfortunately we did take a bit more casualties than I would have liked, especially with the armored car presence, but we certainly would have taken much more without the armored cars. Trade value, not the best, but we were at least able to take another one of the core territories being held here by West Mexico, and as you can see here, we actually split off Orhan to start capturing some of these provinces here. As I've been capturing the provinces, I am shutting down recruitment. I don't want them raising any additional troops, nor do I want to be paying for said recruitment. Taking a look at West Mexico, if we just change the filters here to show the province morale, we've been able to disrupt a lot of his core economy here. Orhan's going to be going in for Topia, and it looks like he left his double grain entirely exposed, I should say. So we are just going to go right in here. 5 hours, man. Orhan is fast. Speed of 72. As you can see here, they've got an Orhan. They have infantry armored cars, but unfortunately, infantry is half or has half the speed of armored cars in Orhan, which means this entire army is only going at the speed of the infantry, plus they're damaged, so that's impacting their movement speed even more. I mean, if I were West Mexico, I would have sent that armored car or Orhan to start coming over here, taking some of these provinces back, maybe preventing me from taking more. Instead, he's been marching here for about 6 hours without much success. His other forces that he split off will be taking these provinces, and that's fine. I don't really care about these provinces necessarily. They'll be nice to have in the future, but at the moment, I just like to be able to disrupt their economies, and if as they take them, it's going to lower the morale, and their troops will be stationed in the low provinces, whereas we're kind of bunkering up and kind of going to be holding up the north here, again, stressing this double wood province, which has a level 2 fortification coming across that is holding the gates, let's say, for the rest of our territory. Now, if I flip this back over, you can see here that West Mexico has also attacked with LNB against our fort. Now, his troops have pretty high morale, plus he's got the cavalry bonus, plus he's got Allenby, which I do not have. Looks like it gives the cavalry a pretty sizable attack bonus, which is powerful. But we do have the benefit of a fort here. If we click on our units, we can actually see here on the bottom right the protection of 14%, which is going to be massive. We still have another... looks like we have another 2 hours before he does hit. So that's 2 hours of additional fortification time, plus once this day change kind of goes into effect, we should get a little bit of a morale boost, which means faster production. And on his end, I believe he will take another bit of a morale penalty, whereas our troops, hovering around 75%, will also unfortunately take a little bit of a morale hit. These troops that just mapped up Mapimi, I don't want them sticking around. I probably could have held out against his Orhan forces or his other forces. Again, these are really low morale troops. But unfortunately, I am scared of this Lawrence of Arabia. He does have a level 3 Lawrence, giving him a 100% attack boost, along with a movement speed boost. And it looks like this impacts all units. So that is powerful. It's still going to take him a little while. But unfortunately, we do have to give up this fortification here. We just canceled the production. We're pushing, or we're pulling our balloon back, so hopefully he won't be able to intercept it. These troops over here will actually pull back to Sabina, and for the most part, they're going to end up going back to San Miguel or potentially Los Monos here. Though it may seem dire, I don't think we're in that bad of a situation. If we look at the newspaper, we flip over to statistics and go back or go forward another day, you can see here we have the second largest army, second to South Dakota, and I do not know how or why. They could have a pretty strong Fiona that is able to boost out a lot of units, and they just must not have been losing much. And as we wait for the statistics to go back here, you can see that our army is stronger than Northwest Mexico here, and then South Mexico, that's not it. Where is... Let's take a look at the actual article. That might be easier to look at. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Let's just type in Oklahoma and take a look at the hits. Here we go. Mightiest. So Central Mexico is even weaker than that. He's got over half of the troops that we have, but he doesn't have as large of an army. And if we're able to continue to mop up forces that are being spread out, even if we have less troops than he has, if we're able to concentrate our forces and defeat him in detail, we should be able to bring the trades back into our advantage by engaging smaller forces with our larger concentrated force and slowly dwindling him down. If we're able to mop up West Mexico here, that would be 2 members down in the coalition, and we would just be left with 1. And again, this might be a little bit of a hammer and anvil tactic where it looks like South California is actually pressuring them from the northwest. Ideally, they will ship some troops over. If not, that isn't the end of the world. So their biggest force here is actually Lawrence, which probably indicates that California has a sizable force that's keeping them occupied. Unfortunately, we can't intercept this force. We're going to take the battle here in San Miguel. If these forces continue on into our territories, I would gladly take that battle here. We have about 94,000 troops in the field. West Mexico has 53,000. 53,000, an armored car, 2 significantly stronger heroes than we have, plus Allenby, if we include him, they're at 66,000. So not as big of a threat. But again, their morale is significantly higher than ours. That being said, though, we do have reinforcements coming from Oklahoma, or at least the central territories of Oklahoma. We've got Lawrence, and again, he's not as good. He doesn't get that 100% attack boost that they have, but he is very formidable by himself. He's going to have a 20 attack, 10 defense, and he has 75 hit points, which means he's going to be able to take out a lot of infantry while staying alive and soaking up some of that damage, preserving the infantry, preserving our own infantry. Not to mention, these troops are coming, again, straight out of Oklahoma, so they are going to be top-notch, high morale, or as high as we can get, and they should be able to trade rather favorably. Louisiana has been doing a great job mopping up Mississippi here. Looks like they went into southern Alabama, started to engage Florida. These 2 nations turned into an AI at the end of the last day tick, so he's not going to have much of an issue here. Looks like Carolina is going to be his primary opposition, along with Pennsylvania, and then he will also have the Canadian Maine coalition in the northeast to contend with, though I don't believe they're much of a threat at the moment. Ideally, I would have loved to have gone up against the Mexican coalition as a little late game boss end challenge by myself, but it looks like I'm taking on Texas and the coalition and potentially California right here in the early game, day 4. We have been able to invest in a few railroads in our fish as we are running a huge deficit here. As you can see, we're down 185. We do have these barracks up and running, churning out some cavalry. As soon as this finishes, I'm going to turn it off. Unfortunately, I just can't afford the upkeep from food. But with these additional railroads, we should be able to boost our production, again, after we turn off these barracks. With the capture of the Arkansas capital here, we were, again, able to boost production, and we pulled back our troops. We debated invading Missouri, but after we saw the newspaper come out showing South Dakota's significant military might, that wasn't a border we wanted to maintain. Not to mention, after the invasion from the Mexican states, we wanted to pull these troops kind of back home. We have the 35,003 cavalry. I wish we had an Allenby, but unfortunately we'll have to do with what we have. But this should be enough to take out potentially a Hank, despite him having that additional 9% attack and defense boost. The Utah front has been relatively quiet here. I would totally start marching into a lot of these provinces, but with all these nations attacking us, we unfortunately would be stretched too thin. Had this brawl not escalated, or if Mexico never attacked us in the first place, I would definitely be marching into Utah here, seeing if I could secure that double energy and the double steel along with the additional energy in his core territory. I see some blue here on the map. I believe that we have an additional nation that has AI nation that has given us the right of way. Again, at the beginning of the game, we shared map with each one of these AI countries, these miners. Not only does it give you the popularity boost, which discourages a lot of these nations from declaring war on you unexpectedly, it doesn't prevent it, but it does delay it. I think at a certain percentage, and I don't remember if that's 25 or 30%, but when it gets lower, they will or they can attack. If it's above the threshold, we're all set. The other bonus we get is every now and then, some of these nations, I don't know if it's just kind of pure chance, or maybe these are some of the nations we trade with more consistently. We have a chance to get right-of-way access. We have right-of-way over here through, again, West Kansas. This could potentially help us in the future, but not at the moment. And we did try to sneak some infantry over into El Paso to see if Northwest Mexico here was guarding it. But unfortunately, he was. I may, depending on if we run into a little bit of a stalemate here in the south, they start fortifying some of these provinces, they don't attack me, we may open up a second front. We'll take Lawrence and move in through El Paso and start taking some of these high morale provinces from our opponent. This is going to be huge. If I'm able to do the little trick to secure the provinces just a little bit earlier, it's 24 minutes or so for infantry, and infantry has the 36 speed. Orhan, I think we mentioned earlier, has the 72. So instead of the 24-minute trick, I believe it would be around like 12 minutes for Orhan, which again would also be a huge help in this situation. Man, I say again a lot. The day 6 tick. We are also going to start saving some of our resources, specifically our iron and wood, for these factories on day 6. The railroads here should definitely complete in time, and with those factories, we should be able to start production on initial artillery. As we can see here, tanks would require factory level 2. Given how large the map is, I would prefer to take tanks, especially the faster moving regular tanks opposed to the heavy tanks, in a lot of this open combat. We really don't have any strategic interests here in the Gulf of Mexico, so we really won't need to focus on a navy. Railroad guns are nice, but again, that's really a late stage unit. Once you have a bit more railroad coverage and you're able to move from one place to another, airplanes will certainly be critical on a map of this size, especially once our opponents start investing into things such as artillery or railroads, railroads, and railroad guns. But the flexibility of the tanks and the fast movement of tanks will allow us to, I believe, bypass a lot of fortifications, or at least be able to hit more poorly defended positions in the enemy lines. Let's say it may have a fortification, but it has a lower amount of troops. The tanks would be able to destroy the troops and the fortifications rather quickly and give me potentially a straight line into the enemy's heartland. I mean, the beautiful thing about tanks is they'll be able to expose any kind of weaknesses quicker, and they won't get bogged down by small infantry groups, take morale penalties by being in enemy territory, or really being slowed down by fortifications. Thank you all for joining, and with that, we will see you next time. It looks like we have southern Mexico making a few moves against the central Mexico AI. In terms of provinces, we are at 33. Our ally in Louisiana is catching up to us pretty quickly, which is good. We've got the two top spots, followed by Pennsylvania, Northwest Mexico here, as I keep calling them, in North California and Utah. If we can continue to chip away here at South Mexico and then Northwest Mexico, we'll be in good shape. I mean, together they're at 37, so they do have more provinces than I do. But if we look at the morale, a lot of their morale isn't doing the best, especially their recent conquests. So they really have the 20 core, 10 each of the core provinces, whereas we've got the 10, but we have a little bit additional here in Oklahoma and the double resources, where West Mexico never secured any double resources when he took out these AI miners, and the same goes for Northwest Mexico. So they don't have the benefit of these double resources. West Mexico, I see him struggling for materials at this point. This grain will be huge. We've been trying to hit their materials and their other production, their energy. I know they have a surplus of food. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of their primary territories and 2 of the doubles with food, whereas they have 2 materials and 3, 4 energy. And after we take this, they won't have a single material province outside of 2 of these or 3 of these recent conquests. So maybe they can build some fortifications with existing stockpiles, but if they don't save that or purchase additional materials on the market, they may not be able to meet the daily consumption needs of each one of their provinces. As you can see here, daily consumption, you need 800 of every resource type. The sliders can impact how much of each of the good in each category, the resource in each category you utilize. So again, grain over fish, steel over wood, and then you have your coal, oil, or gas combinations. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hit some of these natural gas and coal provinces, as he was deploying an additional hero or units. He's deploying an additional hero unit here, but we have 7 hours, so we should be able to go in here and potentially, with Orhan's ability, actually move up and start causing some additional trouble here for Northwest Mexico.